cold.
Last week.
D-Crack on the beat.
Last week. Last week. Last week. Last week. Last week. Last week.
Last week, I was fuck your bitch in my white tee. Last week, I was jumping in that bitch Spike Lee. Last week, I was fuck your bitch da-da-da-da-da. Last week, I was jumping in that Porsche 4G. Last week, I was somewhere in the trap going crazy. Last week, I was riding in a whip with 380s. Last week, last week, last week, last week, last week, I was somewhere in the trap and cooking baby. Last week, I was somewhere in the mall with your lady. Last week, I was somewhere tryna cook up my Mercedes. Last week, I was riding in a whip with 480. Man, I damn nigga try me, but I think about his babies. Man, I be riding around in a foreign like I'm famous. And little nigga, you tryna get some money, just be patient. Cause we got so much money, man, we can change the weather. Last week, I was somewhere just rolling in some snow. Last week, I was in Italy smoking on you go. Last week, I was in Texas for number 4. In the rodeo. Last week, I had so much diamonds, I was feeling cold. Last week, I was somewhere out here trying to be a freak. Last week, I was chasing the catches like a dog. Last week, I was fuck your bitch in my white tee. Last week, I was jumping in that bitch Spike Lee. Last week, I was fuck your bitch da-da-da-da-da. Last week, I was jumping in that Porsche 4G. Last week, I was somewhere in the trap going crazy. Last week, I was riding in a whip with 380s. Last week,
Last week.
last week,
Last week.
last week,
Last week.
last week.
Last week, your bitch was at my crib and she was bustin'. I got Pharaoh on my waist and that's the only thing I'm cuffin'. Last week, I was riding in the Porsche, your bitch was key. Then she asked to drop my acid, I said, bitch, you is a tweet. Last week, your favorite rapper asking for a fee. Then he said that we the hottest since the word up on the street. Last week, I probably ran through a couple commas. Last week, I probably ran through a couple mamas. Last week, I hit them all, then spent it all, then got it back. Walked up to your bitch like, goddamn, what kind of shit is that? I live life like a rock star lifestyle. Where the fuck is the money at? Yeah, I need that shit right now. And for the shit you said last week, have them work by next week. Last week we was in the ocean, riding around on jet ski.
Last week. Last week. Last week. Last week.
Last week, I was fuck your bitch in my white tee. Last week, I was jumping in